views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
And hello and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I'm your host, Daren Jaime, and today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough. Coming up on today's show, we'll give you an update on what's been going on right here in the Bronx. Plus, senators reach a bipartisan deal to stabilize Obamacare after President Trump ordered to terminate Obamacare subsidies. Also, the president says previous presidents never called the victims of fallen soldiers after claiming to reach out to the families of 4 soldiers that have recently died. We'll discuss this and more with our political commentator. After that, we'll hear from Meaningful World, an organization that's dedicated to fostering peace and healing to those in other countries. We'll find out about their mission trips and an upcoming event at the United Nations headquarters. And then we'll hear how one young man used his experience with sickle cell to create a book that others are now helping to fight the disease. And then we'll sit down with a Bronx activist that has decided to marry the island of Puerto Rico to help with the relief. And then we'll speak to a representative from the YMCA in Puerto Rico, giving us an update on the island after the crisis of Hurricane Maria. And we also have the Harlem School of the Arts in studio discussing their programs and upcoming Masquerade Gala taking place this month. All this and much more is heading your way, so stay tuned because right now we're officially open. Well, hello, everyone. I'm your host, Daren Jaime, and today is Wednesday, October 18th. Of course, you're watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. Now, we want to encourage you to stay connected to us, and you can find out more about us at Twitter at BronxNetTV and Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Well, a lot has been going on over this busy week, and we'll catch you up now with some Bronx updates. New York City is stepping up its effort to assist victims and families affected by recent national disasters. A new service center is opening in Manhattan, supporting those displaced from Puerto Rico, Florida, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and other parts of the Caribbean affected by the hurricane. Now, the new site will include the city's government agencies, not-for-profit, and community organizations that will help families to critical services such as health insurance, food assistance, and much more. Now, the center is set to open on October 19th at the Julia Burgos Latino Center, located at 1680 Lexington Avenue in Manhattan. It will be open from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and 1 to 4 p.m. on Saturday and 1 to 5 p.m. on Sunday. Now, those who are planning to visit the center are asked to make an appointment beginning today by visiting nyc.gov or by calling 311. A Bronx teenager who is accused of fatally stabbing his classmate last month was indicted on first-degree manslaughter. The stabbing happened during a class at the Urban School for Wildlife Conservation where 18-year-old Abel Sedano stabbed Matthew McCree. Sedano testified in front of a grand jury but has not yet been indicted for murder. According to the Bronx District Attorney, the grand jury is still considering other charges. The teenager told police that he was bullied since the beginning of the school year. And we'll continue to bring you more information with that. Sedano's bail is set for $500,000. His next court appearance is November 15th. A new diabetes center is coming to the South Bronx. Now, the hub will be the home to Diabetes Relief Centers of America's first East location, where it hopes to provide over 8,000 treatments a month. According to the center, the treatment provided is proven to reduce the long-term effects of diabetes. Uber has taken over yellow cabs and average rides. According to the New York Times, this past July, Uber witnessed an average of 6,289 rides a day, whereas yellow cabs only managed 277,000. Now, Uber's not only been accessible for riders, but for drivers as well. It's benefited immigrants who don't have access to many jobs. According to Uber's data, more than 2,000 drivers came through the car service's Bronx Center every week. Now, despite some scandals involving Uber, people still seem to use their services. One other news, Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. held a press conference at the Woodlawn Cemetery for the upcoming Bronx tour. Our reporter, Tatiana Parrish, has the story.
It's almost that time again. The tour of the Bronx is around the corner. The press conference for the tour was held at Woodlawn Cemetery. It's the biggest race in New York City, attracting foreigners from different countries. Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. and his wife participate every year, but his sons will be joining them this year.
The reason why I love it is because it allows for families to come together. It allows for Bronxites to see our lovely borough from a different vantage point, but it also allows for thousands more to come in from beyond our borders to see what the Bronx looks like today.
Both the 40-mile and 25-mile routes take you throughout the borough in one day. The Bronx Tourism Council made a couple of upgrades this year. Woodlawn Cemetery is a resting stop during the tour. Riders will be able to view 140 unique species of trees and a mass amount of funerary art. The Ride with GPS app allows you to hear direction cues along with custom cue settings, in which tells you a story about what part of the Bronx you are riding through, and all features are free of charge.
There are a lot of people who want to ride and they don't have a bicycle. So what we are doing is we're giving them an opportunity to rent a bicycle. So we partnered with an institution called Bike Rent, and they're giving discounts so that people can come and rent a bike and ride our ride.
The Tour of the Bronx registration starts at 9 a.m. and the ride will start at 10 a.m. So far, 6,000 signed up for the free tour. For more information about the tour, visit the website below. For BronxNet, Tatiana Parrish.
And thank you, Tatiana. We have to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Open right after this.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Well, after 2 weeks of negotiations, Republican Senator Lamar Alexander and Democratic Senator Patty Murray reached a deal to restore the Affordable Care Act cost-sharing reduction payments for 2 years in exchange for more flexibility in Obamacare. This according to published reports. Now, President Trump is also claiming that previous presidents didn't reach out to families of fallen soldiers. Trump's comments come after 4 U.S. Special Forces soldiers were gunned down at the border of Niger and Mali. Now, joining us to discuss the two topics and then some, we welcome now political commentator and the owner of Retrovision Media, Lee Bynes, and good to have you.
Good to be back.
Hey, let's talk about this here for a moment. Now, as we talk about this agreement that was actually reached, what exactly does this agreement do, and how does it really play out, given the fact that the president has made these cuts to subsidies?
Well, you know what? Lucky for the Bronx viewers, I made some notes. And the Alexander and Murray plan, or that they're trying to put forth right now, here's what it is. It's going to offer skinny plans. If you don't know what a skinny plan is, that's like a lightweight health plan. It's going to cost you less, but you won't get nearly the type of coverage that the Affordable Care Act would have with their essential benefits. So they've streamlined their plan in order to bring down the cost for deductibles, et cetera. But the plan, while Donald Trump initially came out and said that it was something that he could get behind, 2 hours later, when he spoke to a group of GOP conservatives, the bean counters, if you will, he came back and said that this is something that he would have to rethink all over again. You see, a lot of those in the GOP want to see Obamacare ripped up from the root. They don't want anything left of it whatsoever. And as far as they're concerned, that's the only thing that their constituents, the red meters, if you would, is going to buy at this point, even though it's definitely to their detriment.
And let me talk about the deal. Now, the deal allegedly will make it easier for states to obtain waivers to customize Obamacare to their needs.
Well, in doing so, and that's what one of the surprising things that I found, that this is a bipartisan effort, is simply because once you give the states to change the way that the Affordable Care Act has been set up, you're going to find those pre-existing conditions starting to be kicked to the curb. People who are older, people in my age group, healthy or not, will find themselves paying higher premiums, higher deductibles, and higher co-payments. That's just the reality of it is. And so if you happen to live in, say, California, or you happen to live in New York, you may be okay or better than most. But if you're in Mississippi, you're in Texas, you're in places like Florida and Georgia, you could have some issues.
Yeah, 2018, the deal, well, I should say 2018 premiums, it still remains unseen as to how that will actually affect insurers and what that will mean. Let me move on to another topic. We're talking about the president. We know that he made his comments talking about former presidents have not reaching out to the families of fallen soldiers who've been deceased or killed, I should say, out in war. A lot of people are extremely aggravated over the president's comments. What are we to make of this?
We should make of it what we've made about his issues with the NFL, with the same thing with his issues with Puerto Rico, the same thing with most of the issues that he brings up out of the clear blue sky. Is simply a distraction from a lot of things that he doesn't want to deal with right now. For one, he doesn't want to deal with the fact that the Puerto Rico situation has been poorly handled, mishandled at best. He doesn't want to deal with the fact that the fallout from Europe over the Iranian deal that he's trying to renege on right now. He doesn't want to deal with the fact that in North Korea, see, these are the stories that we had to cover at Issues Under Fire at Retrovision Media. These are the fact that North Korea has issued a statement saying that they're no longer interested in dialogue or diplomacy either. And the fact that they were going to wait to come to the table after they've shown the United States what they're capable of as far as their offense and defensive military procedures are. So yeah, we're in a really, really hot world right now. And for us to sit here and engage back and forth over whether or not Barack Obama placed a call to the fallen warriors, if you will, is kind of ridiculous. And but speaking on that, I have to wonder whether or not the things that the president is doing is just another way to stick a shiv into Barack Obama's legacy. You know, he's tearing up the Affordable Care Act. He's tearing up the Iranian deal. He's looking right now to disengage from the NAFTA trade agreement after getting out of the Paris climate. So everything that the previous president has done is being torn apart and replaced with nothing. Again, when we get back to that Iranian deal, and that's why this is so important, is that if in fact this deal falls apart because the president decided to get out of it, once the Iranians, if they decide to kick the international inspections, the IAEA, folks who are responsible for determining what they're doing, why, and what it's for, there's nothing but put in place to replace that. So we don't know what he's doing. He is destroying a lot of stuff, but he's not building anything.
But 2018 is right. I mean, midterm elections are really around the corner. What can we determine here about midterm elections, given the fact that the political climate right now? Do you think we're going to see a surge of voters coming out, given the fact of what's going on? You know, you've got the issue with Puerto Rico. You've got a whole lot of other things at the table. Is this going to be enough to bring voters to the table?
Well, you know what? I think it will. At this point, when
the polls.
Yeah. Okay. When we look at the Affordable Care Act, we were talking about that, right? And we're looking at this new plan that if it does get through, and that's highly unlikely at this stage of the game because, again, a lot of Republicans don't want any parts of the Obamacare to exist. Well, the Republicans have been talking about this since 2010, that they were going to repeal and replace. If they push this back beyond 2018 to the 2020 election, then yeah, a lot of folks are going to be coming out because they will then know they would have had 2 years of Trump care to look at and be dissatisfied with. So yeah, I could see a lot of folks coming out to the polls, but unless, again, one caveat, unless the Democrats actually come forward with a plan that people are going to be able to rally around, or some economic policies that people are going to be able to enjoy and move themselves up on the economic ladder, we don't know how this is going to turn out.
Lee Bonds, that's why we bring you in. Thanks, Lee.
Good to be here.
All right, Lee Bonds, our political analyst. You can catch him every week here on Open. Stay tuned. We got more show coming up. We'll be right back right after this.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family, the first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Well, through their mission trips, the Meaningful World Organization has been committed to helping people who have experienced traumatic events such as natural disasters. Their motto is, when one helps another, both become strong. Here now telling us about the upcoming event and more, we welcome now Meaningful World Vice President Loraine Simmons, and good to have you back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Got to be excited. This is the time of the year where you're getting together with those from literally around the world, and a very exciting event taking place.
That's right. We at Meaningful World, as you know, want to help transform trauma, and we promote peace. And International Day of Peace at the United Nations was in September. But at Meaningful World, we would like to promote peace every day. So we're doing our Peace Awards on October 26th. And we're starting with a photo exhibit for the 23rd through the 26th, right inside the UN. And the photos will be of our missions, photos that it was really difficult to choose which ones would be the best, but photos that would help to inspire a dialogue with people about creating and maintaining peace, and how we impact others with our behaviors, things like that. So it's really about inspiring people to have that conversation and to look a little deeper within themselves to see.
And literally, you have people coming from all across the world.
Definitely. We are giving 3 Peace Awards, one for NGOs, one for an adult person who promotes peace, or however they decide that they're going to empower people, and then one for youth. So the person who's accepting for the NGO is coming from Nigeria. So her group is definitely coming. And one of the other people is from Armenia, but lives here in the US. So we are promoting it and spreading it across the world.
So people have an opportunity to take part in this photo exhibit, and talk to us a little bit about where you've been and what you've been able to accomplish.
Well, this year we've been in Haiti and in Armenia, but around the world in the last 27 years, we've been to 45 different countries. So we've been working with people in helping transform their trauma through education on emotional intelligence, meaning making, and how they can empower women and children and the young boys, because we have to educate them also in how to be respectful of the women. So we work in a lot of different ways and on the ground with the people.
So this is a public event.
It
and
is.
so if people want to come, how do they do that?
Well, it is a public event, but it is in the UN, so there is high security. So you would need to go to our website, which is www.meaningfulworld.com, and register for the event, and we'll put your name on our list. By the 21st is our deadline for security.
And when we talk about humanitarian outreach, obviously we're seeing a lot of natural disasters right now, and the response is, you know, from the United States, we know that we're questionable when we talk about Puerto Rico. There's a bunch of stuff we can talk about.
Right.
But talk to us about that humanitarian response, because it seems as though more and more people, their hearts are being pricked, given the fact that we're seeing more and more natural disasters.
Right, right. It is a huge challenge, and people, I think, are spread a little bit thin with knowing where to give and how to give, and their hearts are bleeding for people. And so, you know, of course, those people who are hit with natural disasters have to have their physical needs met first. And then, so that, we're glad to see that some people are doing that. And as we know, today's show, someone's going to be speaking about Puerto Rico, which is wonderful. But Meaningful World goes in after the physical needs are met. We go in and help with the emotional needs and help people sort of rebuild their human spirit, their hope and their desire to keep moving, to rebuild.
Right, because there's two, I mean, you talk about two components. The first component, of course, is after I get my basic necessities and my housing and all those other things back to as best as can be, then I have to deal with all the other stuff, what I feel, the trauma associated with it. So talk to us about how you speak to that trauma and how you deal with that.
Well, we go in and we try to empathize with them. We ask them to express themselves first, which is really difficult for a lot of people because they're not used to doing that. So we have a 7-step integrative healing model, which helps them to express their feelings, identify their feelings, and then we go on to empathize with them, validate their feelings, and help them know that we're there for them. The next step is about transforming their trauma by understanding the meaning that this trauma has for them. There's always a lesson, even if it's a trauma that you've lost everyone in your family, you still can learn a lesson from it, a lesson that you hold in your heart that helps you keep living, keep moving, helping other people. So it's about helping them learn that lesson and transform from being the victim to the victor, finding their meaning.
And we want to tell people that if you want to check out the exhibit is actually taking place on display from the 23rd to the 27th. It'll be at the UN's lower level near the Vienna Cafe and the conference rooms. And of course, there'll be an award ceremony. And of course, yours truly, I'll actually be there. Yeah.
Yes,
so,
we're honored to have you.
Yeah, we'll be the host and looking forward to that and coming and sharing with you. And also the great work of people all across the world, literally.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah.
So before we go, what do you want people to know? Lastly, you get the final word.
Well, that of course, we all know that these kinds of organizations need funding, and this is our only fundraiser of the year. So we're just asking people if they can possibly come, meet people from all around the world, come to see what we do, and support us in this mission so that we can go out to more countries.
Loraine Simmons is the Vice President of Meaningful World, and we thank you so much for coming, and best wishes to you, and definitely keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thanks.
Lorraine's our guest here, and we'll be back with more shows. Stay with us. We'll be back more open coming up right after this.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
According to the CDC, more than 100,000 people suffer with sickle cell. Our next guest was born with sickle cell and decided to write the book called The Adventure of the Sickler. Joining us now to share a little bit about his book and his story with sickle cell, well, he's a 7th grader. And his name, Parker Todd. We welcome him to the show. Parker, good to have you.
Thank you.
So good to have you. Listen,
you.
So you've got this book, and you wrote a book called The Adventure of the Sickler by Parker Todd.
Yes.
Talk to us about this book.
Well, the book is about an 11-year-old boy named Chase Parker who goes through the sickle cell and fights it off in the hospital and turns his pain into power and uses that to motivate other kids and get through their illnesses.
And you took this book yourself because you wrote it, and you're a young man that had to deal with sickle cell yourself, so this is really what caused you to really write the book. Talk to us about that, and why did you want to write the book?
Well, I wrote the book to inspire and uplift other kids that are suffering through other diseases, not only sickle cell, but other diseases. And I want to bring the inner sickler out of kids.
So when you talk about your experience and dealing with sickle cell, talk to us a little bit about that, and what was that like for you?
It was hard, but I'm glad I had my parents by my side. So they were with me every step of the way, and they help me, and they motivate me and inspire me.
And so you write this book, and so we're not going to give the whole book away, but what can people find out about this book?
Well, they can go to www.thesickler.com to order it, or they can get it off of Amazon. Yeah.
And you can get it, and you can get it there. How long did it take you to write?
2 years.
2 years.
But I've been crisis-free for 2 years, so it's helped me write this book.
So you've been crisis-free for 2 years?
Yes.
Good. And so that whole process, were you worried, nervous? How did it feel? Because we just saw some pictures of Mom, and if you don't know, his mom is Nicole Johnson, and she's been here as a wonderful news anchor, and she's a news anchor and not just an anchor reporter out in Pix 11, and she does a great job over there, and she's here with us, and she's been several stations, and she's here. This is our son. Talk to us about that Mom and how much of a help she's been.
She's an extraordinary mother. I'm glad to have her. She helps me. She motivates me. She loves me, and I love her too.
Did she pay you for this?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
This is all from my heart.
It's all from your heart?
Yeah.
All right. I believe you. I believe you. We love her too. So you talk about being crisis-free. What do you want other kids to know about this?
I want them to take their medicines because it's going to help you fight off your pain, and, you know, just listen to your parents and listen to your doctors because they're going to do the best for you.
Mm-hmm. And what were your parents saying during this whole process?
Well, they were with me every step of the way, like I said, and they just motivated me and inspired me, and I really love them for that.
And talk about the Sickler. So when we talk about the adventures of the Sickler, what adventures can we expect in this book?
You can expect Chase Parker, the main character, going through pain inside the hospital, but you can also see the Sickler transform out of Chase Parker and help uplift, motivate other kids, and get them through their illnesses.
So we want kids to be able to touch base and get this book. We want parents to be able to get this book. It's called The Sickler. It's written by Parker Todd, and it's an excellent book here. You said it took you 2 years to put together?
Yes.
Ah, okay. And so you want people to get this book, and we want people to make sure they get this book. Parker Todd is our guest here with us in studio. I'm going to give you a chance to say one more thing about your book. What do you want people to know?
Enjoy it.
Well, that's a good one to close on. Enjoy it, everybody. It's The Sickler by Parker Todd. And yes, he is a 7th grader who dealt with sickle cell. You say you've been crisis-free for 2 years.
Yes.
And so he's on the road, and we want you to make sure that you get this. And great to meet you again.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. And yes, 7th graders can write books, y'all. And so come on out and support Parker Todd, our guest here on Open. Listen, taking a quick break. Want you to stay with us. We got more show coming up after these messages. Great job.
Thank you.
All righty.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Well, in an effort to help with the disaster relief, a Bronxite has decided to marry the island of Puerto Rico. Yes, you heard it right. Marry the island of Puerto Rico on November the 1st. Yes, you heard it right. Mariposa Fernandez is an activist from the Bronx looking forward to helping Puerto Rico. She is here, and we welcome her now. Mariposa Fernandez, good to have you.
Good to be here. I'm so excited. I am head over heels.
You're head over here. You're getting married.
I'm tying the knots.
You're tying the knot.
I've made this commitment a long time ago, but I'm making a public vow to love, honor, and cherish and protect and defend my homeland for the rest of my life. It's going to be a Boricua mass wedding. So it's open to the public, like the Moonies, anyone who wants to, the Mooney mass weddings. You remember those back in the day?
Yeah, I remember those.
So whoever wants to make that vow with me, because this is not about a short-term commitment or a long-term commitment. This is about a lifelong commitment to help our homeland. Right now, there's an escalating health crisis. People are dying. The one foundation, or the effort that I'm supporting, is the New York State Nurses Association with the Filipino American Health Workers and the Hispanic Nurses Association. They have an initiative called SOS for Puerto Rico, and a lot of those nurses are actually from the Boogie Down Bronx. So that's what this is about. I have a wedding registry on Amazon. Look for, people can look for Mariposa Fernandez and Puerto Rico.
Right.
Yes.
And with this wedding registry, what will people be able to do?
Oh, they'll be able to purchase certain items that we're going to deliver ourselves. Most of them are small items. We have organic, non-GMO seeds. 80% of the crops were destroyed. Our people are being malnourished. FEMA and SOS, they are giving out Skittles. They're giving out snack packs, Ziploc bags with 1 can of Vienna sausages, and sodium-laden snacks for our people. So these are from eyewitness accounts of people that are already on the ground, including Iris Morales, who is on the board of Uprose, and she's one of the founding Young Lords. Iris Morales, very notable leader in our community, just came back from Puerto Rico and saw in Loiza that they were giving out Skittles to our people. So all of the material aid that we've been sending is still being held in the port of San Juan, in the docks. It could take an entire day for people to forage for water. Our people who have little money are being forced to buy water when we're sending water, we're sending material aid. I was a part of an initiative with El Maestro, Cultural Center and Boxing Gym, 1300 Southern Boulevard. Another container is about to go out. 1 container is on its way. We expect for that food, that water, those first aid kits to be delivered to our people. As far as humanitarian help, we welcome humanitarian help that will work with us. We have our own social workers. And so, SOS for Puerto Rico also is going to be providing mental health. They're going to Barranquitas, they're going to Las Piedras, they're going to Arecibo, to places that were the hardest hit that still have not received medical attention.
So let me go back here on November the 1st. Now, you can join Mariposa at the Point.
At the Point, 940 Garrison Avenue. Okay, I have a cake from Valencia. It feeds 150 people. We expect. Listen, we're gonna run out of food because I only have it's on a shoestring budget. Okay, but people that come must understand that this is a fundraiser, and when the food runs out, then we could really experience what our people on the island are experiencing.
Absolutely.
So on the wedding registry, there'll be vitamins, prenatal vitamins, children's vitamins, other supplements, mosquito nets, solar lamps. I actually got this solar lamp at a 99-cent store in East Harlem in El Barrio. We want to try to keep the money in the hood, but as far as using, you know, the big corporations like Amazon, I got this idea from my friend Charlotte, who did a wedding registry in 4 days and had her family and friends order certain items, order work gloves, hand sanitizer, sanitary napkins. My wedding registry also contains condoms. We need to protect our people. There will be a lot of babies born, you know, 9 months from now with the lights off. I promise you that we're going to have a baby boom in Puerto Rico.
And people are laughing, but that's real serious.
It is really serious. Really, this is not the time for us to reproduce, but that's just a reality. It's just a reality that babies are going to be born, and what are they going to be born into? So this is a part of me marrying my liberation homeland and calling for a free Puerto Rico. We have to define, when people say a new Puerto Rico, well, what does the new Puerto Rico look like and for whom? And this is a time to really expose the class differences, to expose racism. My family, and there's a lot of shame that keeps, my family, I'm a black Puerto Rican. Okay, there's racism in Puerto Rico, there are class differences in Puerto Rico. My family is in Fajardo, my prima hermana is in the Caserío, which is the housing projects in Fajardo. Her son is in the state prison in Bayamón. Okay, her youngest daughter has 11 children. This is the reality of Puerto Rico. But as far as humanitarian aid, we welcome allies to join us. We need to help ourselves. We need to help ourselves. We have social workers, we have psychologists, we have professionals.
And how's your family doing from what you've heard?
My family, they say that they're okay, but we have to learn to ask the questions. What does okay mean? Is your livelihood intact? Has your job reopened? If you're receiving Social Security, have you gotten your check? Are the banks processing the checks? If you have a salary and you're on direct deposit, are you receiving that money? So I had to ask specific questions so I could gather that my family didn't have the money that they needed. So I deposited in Banco Popular, cash. It took 3 days for it to be received on the other side. I sent money with a friend, a Christian brother who delivered it in person. I sent a package, priority mail, over almost 2 weeks ago. They still haven't received those packages. So that's why we really encourage all ways, and we're looking into logistics of how we can get around FEMA and also hold FEMA accountable, repeal the Jones Act, cancel the debt. We need everything, and we need justice.
And we're going to continue talking about this too, Mariposa. Thank you so much for coming. On November the 1st, you can come out to the Point.
You're all
That's
welcome,
about a week.
the whole Bronx.
She's going to marry Puerto Rico, and you'll find out more about that.
To love, honor, and cherish all the days of my life, for richer, for poor, till death do us part.
All righty. Mariposa Fernandez, our guest in studio.
Go to thepoint.org for more information.
Point.org for more information. And secondly, we want you to stay with us coming after the break. We're going to take you to a person who's literally in Puerto Rico right now with boots on the ground, giving us the latest update. We'll be right back right after this.
guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke. I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke fast.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Although Hurricane Maria has hit the island of Puerto Rico a couple of weeks ago, the island is still in need of desperate help. Joining us now over the phone to give us an update of the people of Puerto Rico with boots on the ground, and also to tell us about the partnership with the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the CEO of the YMCA in San Juan, Cora Arce de Vera. And thank you so much, Cora, for being with us.
Thank you all, and hello.
Good to have you. Good to have you. And Cora, for those people who don't know right now, can you please give us a boots on the ground understanding of how are things right now in San Juan?
Well, things are better, thank God. But still, we have 75% of our country without electric power. We still have more than 50% of the country without running water. And we have still some hospitals that aren't able to provide all these services because they don't have or gas or diesel or electric power, right? So we still are very delicate, and in the country, in the middle of the country, in the mountains, we still have people that don't have complete access to food and water, and we still are making very nice and long lines to get some of those things. So things are not nice, but they're getting better.
And when you talk about long lines, give us an idea of how long those lines are.
Oh, well, if you're going to be at a gas station, you still can have a line for half an hour now. A few days ago, you had to do a line for 8 hours or 10 hours.
You said 8 or 10 hours?
Yes, for gas, for your car, or for your generator.
What do you determine to be the biggest urgent need right now?
I still think that if we don't have fixed everything that has to do with the electric power, we're going to be struggling for a while because you can't have food in your fridge, you know, and it's not easy to deal without. And our country is dying because the commerce is all closed, all the stores are closed, or they're open only for a few hours a day. The YMCA at the San Juan hasn't been able to open all the services just because we are a little bit damaged, but also because we don't have the capacity to serve. You know, we want to serve the community again. We're not able to do it because we don't have power, electric power, right? Mm-hmm. So we do have water, running water right now, but we need electric power to provide all the services from 6 a.m. like we used to have it until 9 p.m. And right now we're just offering some services, not all, from 7 to 12 maybe, and the preschool and the other services are closed because the areas are damaged. You know, basketball court and volleyball court just destroyed by Maria. So as well as we there are a lot of places that are in the same conditions.
And on this side, we've got New York City really helping out, and there's going to be the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They are actually partnering with you, and they're actually organizing a relief effort to come to you. Give us some understanding as to what's going to be taking place.
Yeah. Has been wonderful. Although Maria has been a disaster, it has been beautiful because we have been receiving a lot of help and helping hands and people, beautiful people from the state trying to help in different ways in Puerto Rico. And the Chamber of Commerce, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, has come in, also was always coming in now in November, and they're going to be providing us not only helping us with cleaning up and painting that we needed a lot. They're going to be also bringing in supplies, and this has been a beautiful experience because I didn't even know they exist, right? So they came in, they're coming in, and they're going to be helping us as well as the YMCA of the states. We have a lot of YMCAs from the states. They are also want to come in, and they want also to bring in some supplies for Puerto Rico. So that has been beautiful. And they also have created a page where the people can donate through their page, www.ymca.net. So if people want to donate, they can go through the page or go through the page of the YMCA of San Juan also.
Give us
it has been wonderful.
Well, give us a little bit about this as they're coming down and they're providing relief. Some people have talked about the access on roads. What are roads like right now?
Oh, yeah. Access on some roads are scary. That's the worst, scary, because you still have a lot of lights on the streets, and you have trees on the streets, and you have electric cables on the streets. So it's very scary on a lot of streets, especially those that are in this mountain area. Where I live, I'm only 25 minutes away from San Juan. I couldn't get out of my house until the third day after Maria because there was no way to get out. But the cleaning is being done by the government and by the federal government and other agencies and the community. The community is also helping a lot to clean the streets so people can get. We have had some families that didn't receive food and water for more than 2 weeks because they didn't have no way to get out of their communities because of the streets. And now there is a little bit more access thanks to everybody, the government and the agencies and the community-based organizations and the people.
Well, Cora Arce Rivera, you and the rest of those who are on Puerto Rico, please take care of yourselves. I know that help is coming in the form of the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They will be out there next week, and we're looking forward to hearing about the good work that's going to be happening and the lives that are actually going to be touched. Stay encouraged, Cora, and we'll check back with you.
Thank you.
All righty.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. Stay tuned. We got more show coming up right after this.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Well, for more than 50 years, the Harlem School of the Arts has served the community through dance, music, visual arts, as well as music. And joining us now to tell us more about the different art programs and their upcoming Masquerade Gala, We welcome now the Harlem School of the Arts president, Eric Pryor. And Eric, good to have you.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the great work that's going on.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Good, good. And as we said, for more than 50 years, you guys have really been in business and continue to do some great work and a lot of programs that really have helped to fine-tune some young people.
Well, the core of our work has really been training children in all 4 arts disciplines, both on site at the Herb Alpert Center and also serving kids within the public schools and charter schools around New York City. So that's been the core of our work, but more recently we're definitely expanding on that work and taking advantage of our facility and offering public programs for the community.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the several programs that you have, and for people who may not be familiar with the Harlem School of the Arts, what do you have?
Well, we do everything from artist talks. We have an art gallery, 4,000 square foot art gallery. So we do exhibitions. With all our exhibitions, of course, we do conversations and talks so people can really peel back the onion and see what the artists are thinking about when they were making their work. Also, we do a art series called Art Makers, where we interview different folks. Like last year, for example, we had Michael Bivins, Twyla Thorpe, Danny Simmons, just to name a few. And so have these conversations, and it really is about really creating a dialogue around the arts and what's happening within culture.
When you talk about the arts, obviously, we talk about kids in the arts.
Right.
In the school system, sometimes the arts are challenged.
Correct.
Budget cuts, things of that nature.
Correct.
Talk to us about how you're able to really provide some much needed support and help.
Well, I mean, you know, for us, we look at it and realize that really, you know, access to the arts is a social justice issue. I mean, you're really talking about making certain that, you know, you're able to think outside the box and understand the possibilities in life. And the best way to do that is to teach our children to be visionary thinkers. And the best way to do that is to put them in a platform where they're solving problems that don't have necessarily a finite answer, but an answer that comes from their creativity, and helping them to tap into that is critically important.
And you got a fundraiser coming up, I guess.
Yeah.
You got your Masquerade Ball and
Masquerade
Gala.
Ball. It's going to be a fun night, and we have some incredible honorees, Mary J. Blige. We also have Renee Goldsberry, Deborah Lee, and our own Ray Chu, who happens to be an alumni of HSA.
What's that like for you?
It's amazing. It's a fun night. I mean, it's going to be, the performances are all done by our current students and a few of our alumni students, and I mean, they tear it up, and they're going to really do some amazing performances. And then after the dinner and the performances, we go down and DJ D Nice will be on the ones and twos, and folks will dance, and it's just a really good time.
And that's taking place on next Monday, October 23rd. And so you're encouraged to be a part at the Grand Ballroom at the Plaza. And you can check out the Masquerade, and you got to dress your best now in order to come and have a good time.
Got to have your tux.
Got to have your tux. Got to be ready. Got to be ready. Got to be ready. Got to be ready. That's it. That's it. When you talk about the programs at Harlem School of the Arts, obviously adults as well as children have the opportunity to really benefit. What do you feel is a big difference maker that Harlem School of the Arts makes?
Well, I mean, essentially, I mean, we have a 40,000 square foot facility, so we're positioned to really to put Harlem School of the Arts as a cultural hub in Harlem, which basically means we are rooted in our training program, but we want to make certain that people have other experiences, whether, like I said, going to exhibitions, book signings, music performances, theater performances, and have dialogue around those things, because having a platform where we can discuss issues, I mean, the arts have always been at the core of change in America. I mean, if you think about the civil rights movement and people like Harry Belafonte, you know, the arts has always been a place where you can come together on, you know, on a human level and really bridge differences, but it's also a place where you can use your voice to talk about what's happening in the world. And when you talk about what's happening in the world, a lot of issues that are out there, talk about having the platform of Harlem School of the Arts to be that place where that voice can be heard. I mean, it's critical. I mean, our young people, I mean, I think it's important that we that we really provide a platform, the training, and make certain that our young people, as well as our young adult artists, because that's critical. I mean, you can train young people in the studio, but you need to give them someone to look to and aspire to. So making certain that we have things that really highlight young, emerging artists, you know, it's so important for in terms of them looking at their trajectory as an artist and how they can approach it. And you talk about Ray Chu being one of your alumni. Yeah. What does it mean to have a person of his caliber actually
be an alumni, and what does that say to those who are just taking an outside look in?
It's amazing. I mean, Ray Chu we have a young lady who last year was third on the NBC show The Voice. We have a young man that's on The Voice right now this season. We have the kid from Stranger Things is a HSA alum. The young lady that's playing Domino in the new Marvel comic series, she's Yazzie Beetz, she's a HSA alum. So I mean, there's a lot of HSA alum out there, and they're not just in the arts field. They're also, in industry and in politics. So ultimately, the arts is just an amazing training ground for creating our citizens of tomorrow.
I have to have a shameless plug being from Harlem. What does it mean to have it in Harlem and being right there with all the diversity that's going on?
It's amazing. I mean, Harlem is, when you think about Harlem and the Harlem Renaissance, and, when we look at right now as we come on in 2020 and up through 2030, we're talking about the 100-year anniversary of the Harlem Renaissance. So to be in Harlem in that right now in this period where we're coming on 100 years from where, Harlem really, was branded, with the greats of the arts coming through there. It's an amazing thing that I'm honored to be a part of.
So if people want to tap into the Harlem School of the Arts, what do they do?
Essentially, you can visit our website, www.hsanyc.org, to learn more about what we do. And I encourage you to just come and visit. Our doors are open. Once again, I said we have exhibitions that are open to the public, so just come in and check it out. And, we'll definitely take you around. We have 3 dance studios, 12 private lesson music studios, a new digital lab. We're right now just got equipment donated, so we're in the progress of constructing a recording studio and beautiful courtyard. I mean, the thing is, people come into HSA and they're amazed by how beautiful the facility was, and I must just say Dorothy Maynard, our founder, was a true visionary.
Yeah, and certainly to see where it is today, obviously a lot of progression, a lot of growth, and thank you for keeping the mantle going.
Well, thank you for having me.
That's all right. Eric Pryor, I should say, president of our Harlem School of the Arts, and we want to thank him for coming and sharing with us today. And as you said, if you want to be part of that masquerade ball, yes, you do have to bring your best, wear your tux, and be ready for an outstanding night. As he said, Mary J. Blige, Ray Chu, just among some of the people that will be attending. So if you can and will, come on out and support the Harlem School of the Arts. Excellent organization. Unfortunately, I got to tell you, we've come to the end of the show today. And yes, we want to thank all of our guests for joining us. But most of all, we want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, yes, you can catch the recablecast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Cablevision Channel 67. Verizon Files should be on Channel 33. Or anytime on the web. You can check us out at bronxnet.org. I'm Daren Jaime. It's been a pleasure coming to your homes on this beautiful Wednesday. Be sure to keep this channel wide open, saying take care and God bless. Thank you.